Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? Series 3, Episode 10 of the Hidden London Hangouts. Hello! My name's Alex, and we have an amazing station to show you today. The idea of these episodes is that we take you to somewhere, tell you all the secrets, and make you laugh as well. I've got 3 jokers to bring this joy to you. First of all, Chris Nick's wearing my old rugby shirt from school. Hello.
Hello, Alex. I'm fresh in from the fields. And yeah, exciting. We get to go to a shopping district today, even though we can't go shopping yet.
You see no Amazon for us today. City Holloway, you're looking gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Wow, yeah, it's been one of those days already, and this is the start of the show.
Do you know, we're in a bit of a kind of a mood today. I'm not quite sure, slightly on the edge. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 45 minutes. Laura Hilton-Brown, please bring some calm to this episode.
I will try. I'm wearing my top this evening in homage to the original tile work at this particular station.
Good work. Good work. So we're at Tottenham Court Road. It had a name change. Looks on the map like there were 2 Tottenham Court Roads. All be revealed in time. Chris Nix, take us back to the start of this epic story.
Okay, I will. And this week, I'm going to use a little photo or two just to help. So if we wind ourselves back to the late 1800s, this is what Oxford Street looked like, with horse buses blocking the road, lots of congestion. So on the 30th of July, 1900, the Central London Railway built the first tube station on Oxford Street to alleviate that problem. And it was designed by Harry Bell Measures, the architect that you might remember we mentioned some weeks back at Oxford Circus. And they didn't call it Tottenham Court Road at the time. If we just move on one image, you can see right there, hidden away.
And I love that look, because Warren Street was called Euston Road as well. So you've got Euston Road, that's Warren Street, Tottenham Court Road, that's Good Street, and then the one we're talking about.
That's right. So what happened is, after the Central London Railway had opened in 1900, 7 years later, 1907, 22nd of June, the Charing Cross Euston Hampstead Railway opened up what we now know as the Charing Cross branch of the Northern Line. And they built a station 2 at what we call today Tottenham Court Road, but they opened a station called Tottenham Court Road at what we now call Goodge Street. In 1908, the 2 become one, and there's a name shuffle around. Goodge Street was created, Tottenham Court Road becomes Tottenham Court Road, and we all move on. And then next bit of news, in 1926, escalators are fitted at the station to replace the lifts. So there's a bit of modernisation then again. And then this has to be one of the most chopped and changed stations in terms of upgrades and redesigns. And it changes its face at platform and passage levels throughout its life into the 80s, and is busily having another makeover now with Crossrail. So there we go. That's a brief canter through where we're going to go today.
And I love that map. It's beautiful, completely new. I've never seen that one before, so I'm very, very chuffed by seeing that. And we ought to really, Chris, we ought to have a look at what the other Tottenham Court Road looked like, just as a teaser, because one day, series number 90, we might do Good Street, mightn't we?
We might. So here you go. By way of disambiguation,
that's a good
there is.
Look at that. So that's Good Street as we know it today.
Street. Yeah, that's right.
Good stuff. Hampstead Tube, Tottenham Court Road, now Good Street. Okay, we can ditch that.
Wait, Alex, how do you say the station?
Right, okay, so here's the thing. My nan...
it's Holborn all over again.
Yeah, it is. My nan and my granddad, who were born in London, they always used to say Good Street, like good, with a G. Good
Street.
Because some people say Googe Street.
I would say Googe Street, but
like
only because it's more... Well, it's just more fun.
Well, let's go with that then. Let's do with that. Sorry, Nan. Sorry, Grandad up there.
Should we go down to Tottenham Court Road?
We're going to do good.
Let's say it the right way.
I will slip up.
Thank
goodness we're not doing Good Street today. This is the Central Line entrance to Tottenham Court Road when it was Oxford Street, isn't it?
Yeah, so it looks a little bit similar to, remember Oxford Circus, the station they opened there. It has the tube on the side there, which we also saw in a recent episode of Holborn when we talked about British Museum. So they all, of course, because they're on the same line, had that kind of those similar features. I really like kind of picking those out because for some reason throughout the years we haven't really covered many central line stations. Chris will probably agree with me on this. So
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
sort of been a bit of a new deep dive into the central line in the recent few months. So it's really nice to see how that works. And I also like that really the central line is the catalyst for calling the tube, because of course it was the tuppenny tube or the two-penny tube.
Beautiful. I like that.
If you look really closely, you were just asking about whether it had its name changed. This, I think, was a 1914 photo. And if you look really closely, just above the doorway, it already says Tottenham Court Road, London entrance.
Of course. And of course, you can see as well, it's very convenient for McDonald's dental surgeries as well. Which
is, of course, the big news as well of 1914. Yeah.
So there we go. That's the story so far. And then, Laura, let me show you the Northern Line entrance when it was the Charing Cross, Euston and Hampstead Railway.
Oh,
think of that, Laura.
I love that. That looks very kind of Parisian Art Nouveau, you know, the lovely metropolitan kind of entrances and exits they have. That reminds me of Strathway. Really lovely. I assume that's ironwork, really beautiful.
Yes, wrought ironwork.
Yeah, love that a lot.
Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Nice one, Chris. And we've got another street level entrance to look at, haven't we, as well? Look at that continuous service there.
Oh, look at that. You know what's actually cool here? You see that map, Alex?
Yeah.
We have that map and we've used it for some of our interpretation in the past, particularly for Euston. And it's a black and red map. It's really cool. But it's amazing. I've not seen it in situ like that. Chris, do you know what map I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I know exactly which one you're talking about. And yeah, I haven't seen it in situ until we were raking through these photos earlier. I'll tell you what else is rather nice as well. Border tiles running just at, if you look at top of the stairs by the handrail.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
look at
lovely
that
stuff.
It's interesting as well because it's one of the few stations that didn't have a surface entrance on that Northern Line Charing Cross branch, wasn't it? All the others had a surface entrance, but this was dug underground.
Speaking of which,
gorgeous. Here's a book in all.
And we now know what that's called. That large blocky wooden thing on the left, don't we?
Is the pessimeter.
Yes. And there's a pair of pessimeters.
What's the collective noun for a pair of pessimeters?
Oh, yeah, I think it is just pessimeters. Oh, we use collective noun. Oh, yes, that is...
an emitter. An emitter of pessimeters?
An issue of pessimeters. How about that?
Very good.
A gaggle of pessimeters.
It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So that's rather nice. And there's the phones. There's a call box, Laura, so you can ring your mum. Gord.
Have we lost Laura?
Laura's paused. Sid, we have a lovely chocolate machine as well there. We do like a chocolate machine in the tube stations.
I know. I love those old Nestle chocolate machines. We've seen that at a couple of places, haven't we?
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting that they had to kind of combine and make this massive ticket hall because it was such a busy station. The interchange there was just so useful that it was, you know, it's always been a really, really busy station, as we will allude to a little bit later on. But
I guess it gives you that north, south, east, west, doesn't it? Right in the heart of London. And actually, just to one other thing in that shot, just to really exemplify that, left luggage office notice at the back there. That's typically the kind of thing you'd expect to see at a busy mainline station, isn't it? That you'd want to leave your luggage. But I guess if you're travelling into the centre of town to go and do a bit of shopping there, that might not be a bad thing to be able to do. Amazing to think the security issues these days around leaving left luggage underground. My goodness, how times have changed. And of course, you were telling us in the sort of run up to this, the history of the station, that when they got escalators, there you go, look, you've read my mind. When they got escalators, of course, there was so much work required to redesign the station. It must have had quite, as we can see, quite an effect on the surface sort of geography of the station. Yeah, I absolutely love this photo because there's so much going on. If you look top left, you can see there's kind of girder work with a sign saying that works in connection with the installation of escalators. What I particularly love, the first time I looked at this, was just the woman who appears to be like climbing on top of the roof, but is in fact just on the top deck of an open top bus. These are K-type, I think. That's just absolutely fantastic.
She was up there breaking in from above.
Oh, what's really nice, actually, Chris, can you do that zoom again? And because this is from the 20s, Laura will like this. Look at the from town to the open country by underground. And like there's a family there on that poster. That's lovely, isn't it?
Rather lovely, Laura.
I do love this image, and I've loved all of them so far. The first one made me want to kind of just climb into the photo and get on one of the buses and just feel what it must have been like to be in that crazy busy Tottenham Court Road. And City's spot on here. I love this one because of all of the advertising and the posters, and particularly love the lady that looks like she's climbing on top of the station there as well.
And we've got another one for you, Laura, as well, because, you know, the Tube did like its "We're getting on quite well" posters. And they did one for when the escalators were bunged in at Tottenham Court Road as well.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to indulge the posters a little bit more. We talked about Metroland a few weeks back. There's a great poster advertising forests and farms, ride general and ride well. So that's
always said the same. Always said the same.
Buses.
Beautiful.
Just see the front of the bus poking out there has got general on it. So that's who they're advertising. The other thing is the side of that bus is advertising the Cossacks, the show of 1,000 thrills.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
There we all are. That's what you want to see, isn't it? Middle of the lockdown, the Cossacks can pop out. That's
what Alex is going to see.
There it is, Law. The work is in progress at Tottenham Court Road. Very interesting how they're so utilitarian, these posters, Law.
Do you remember the which episode was it where we had the poster that said works will be ready June?
Oh, Oxford Circus.
Oxford Circus, yeah.
So this is very similar. Another new task, progress. Like it is very kind of, you know, basic but informative, which is obviously what a poster needs to do. But I love kind of these stomach diagrams and the cross section posters because the way I look at things, it just enables kind of all the logistics and operations that are going into all of these works to just kind of spring out from a 2D poster effectively. So I really like this.
Laura, I think you've just put your finger on it for me. It is slightly braggy, isn't it? It's like they've gone, progress, another new task completed.
Okay, everybody, we're off to rename another station now. All good work. Get the Tyler.
Well, I also like how incredibly non-specific this is. It's just progress. It's not like what's been progressed or how or anything like that. It's just like it's progress.
Yeah, you must say, and the dateline, the 1930s is all very lovely. And actually, we ought to really have a think about what the station looked like down below, because it was all very well looking like this, but the platforms are the thing we all get very excited about. And the central line, the platforms are really quite sort of typically central line, just white tiles and quite plain, weren't they?
They were, and they looked like that, which I think is really rather beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Funny, isn't it? They're so different from the Northern Line platforms from the way back when. So different.
Well, what I really love when thinking about these platforms is they used to be wooden, so the actual platform itself was wooden, and then the lighting was this like electric arc lighting. So just talk about inflammatory materials underground together. So apparently only just a few years after the Central Line opened, they replaced all of their platforms with stone and concrete because of fires that had happened in the Paris metro and in Liverpool, I think, as well. So just imagine being there with electric arc lighting above you, and you're on a wooden platform.
They're on a wooden platform. You would feel a bit sort of jeopardy, wouldn't you? Laurel, can I interest you in a Jacob's Lager or a Whitbread Stout?
Well, I'm going to go for the Jacob's Lager, I think, Alex. What's lovely about this is it's just so neat. Everything is kind of very symmetrical, and with the tiling going kind of part way round the tunnel there, the reflection and that would have been coming off the lights is actually really pretty. I think it's really, really lovely image.
And look at the sign as well on the wall, way out, an Edgware, Highgate and Morden line on the side there above the roundel. It's really, it really takes you back. These photographs are so brilliant because they place you at a moment in time so well. Yeah. And the tube sign, the roundel, and the clock, the lights, the shimmery tiles, it really does. And as I say, even in my lifetime, I can remember tube stations, Central Line tube stations, looking not massively dissimilar from that. I absolutely love it. Thank you very much for digging these
All
out.
I can say, Alex, is if the good folk of the Central Line took in all of this advertising subliminally, they must have been permanently smashed, because the majority of that does seem to be advertising booze of one sort or another. It's Guinness on the left.
It's almost as if they've come out of lockdown, isn't it? So there we are so far, right? Okay, so just to put this into position, if you're looking at this episode around the world, Tottenham Court Road is bang in the centre of London, okay? The intersection of two busy shopping streets. It's just on the fringe of Soho, on the fringe of Theatreland, and it is a station where the Central Line arrived first in 1900, and then what is now the Charing Cross branch of the Northern Line arrived in 1907. Drop of curtain denotes lapse of time. They dig a few holes, they put some escalators in, and it stayed like that for a long while. The Northern Line platforms, Laura, you will love this, the pattern was green.
There it is. There you can see the tiles.
And
do we have a coloured one as well?
We do.
We do, from our very collection.
And it's stunning. So that is the green of the Northern Line platforms, Laura. And I think that's a rather beautiful colour. I think Chris thinks it's a little drab, but I really quite like it.
No. I was saying the description of it on our IMS it describes it as olive.
Olive.
Which I think is very drab as a colour, olive. I wouldn't describe that. I don't know what I would describe it as, but I wouldn't call it olive. It's too kind of shiny.
What do you think, Laura? What colour would you place it? I mean, apart from the splash of emulsion across the corner of it, which I believe is pure brilliant white, what would you say that green is?
Yeah, for me, I'm with Chris on this. It's definitely not olive. It's a cross between the kind of azure green of the ocean and the pure green of grass. That's where I'm going, like a lovely grass field. The kind of bright green.
You're going to get very excited, Laura, with what we're about to show you, because if you...
I was going to say, if I was giving it a name for the Hidden London colour chart, I'd hint of mint.
with some rhyming too. It doesn't get much.
Yeah, it is. Mint choc chip.
Yeah.
Look at that. That is just stunning. The cartouche from the Northern Line platforms, Laura. I mean, that's beautiful, isn't it?
So this is what kind of made me wear this top today, because of the white and the green. I mean, this is just stunning. Yeah, lovely. I mean, would anyone go with some avocado green here, or is that too way out there?
Ooh,
I think you might be right.
I'm thinking spinach green,
or even green apple green. You know, like apple bubble gum.
Granny Smith's
green. Yeah, like Granny Smith green. Granny. We call it Granny Green.
Granny Green.
Granny Green.
I feel, Laura, if we described it as
avocado teapot last week.
If we describe it as avocado, we run the risk of a tabloid newspaper, taking issue with us having avocados.
Rather topical. I don't think we'll ever go across the pond at this moment in time. Thank you very much. But all good. Now, the thing was, at this point in time, in the 1970s, a lot of work was being done to renovate what was effectively quite an old-looking station. And at the time, Siddy and Chris, they wanted to make it all look modern, didn't they? And this included installing flares in the booking hall.
Yes. Yeah, we should have anybodied this, shouldn't we? What decade was this? I think they might have got it straight away.
Love it. Anybody? I've had one of those yet, have we? Look at that though, 20p, 15p, 5p for your tickets, 10p.
Gosh.
Amazing.
Well, I mean, they kind of look like slot machines, don't they? You know, those kind of game machines you find in pubs and sort of, those sort of places. They kind of look like that.
They do indeed. That is marvellous. Now,
the 70s wasn't the architectural era of splendour, was it?
For my personal opinion, I dig the flares. I have a couple of flare trousers, and I like to wear them.
Now, am I right in thinking that if you don't want to wear the flares, you could actually wear shoal shoes out of the bag? Am I thinking, is that right?
I think that person is.
It's shoals. Do you know, they're the only shoes that you walk past a shoe shop and they look comfy. It's the only thing you can ever say about them, isn't it, really? A shoal shoe, all those days back when my mother used to walk past shoe shops and go, they look comfy. They've got a nice buckle. Anyway, happy days. So there's the booking hall, looking lovely in the 1970s with big fat trousers. But the platforms themselves were being renovated too. And they decided to prototype it at a station that we know very well. Is that not right, Chris?
It is, and there it is. But the question is, which one?
Anybody?
Anybody?
Oh,
Laura Hilton Brown.
it's Aldwych.
Yes.
Aldwych.
So guys, tell me where in Aldwych that was, because that's a very elaborate mock-up.
Yeah, so this is on the platform that closed in 1917, the one that was open for which stored the Elgin marbles. And yes, go on, Chris.
Oh, sorry, I thought you'd finished.
No, I was just saying, so you come onto the platform through those doors there, and yeah, it's a really elaborate mock-up. Very, very lovely indeed.
Do you approve of that work being done in your beautiful Aldwych, Laura? It looks like it's ruining the history of it.
I know, and there's actually a scene in the 2008 film, The Bank Job, that's set at Tottenham Court Road, but it's shot at Aldwych.
Oh, that's
Little
cool. I didn't
fact
know that.
there for you.
I'll tell you how you can tell which platform that is. Look at the track. And there's no anti-suicide pit, and it's got the old style of insulator on the central rail, which is part of the listing of the station. So you can tell straight away where that is.
Oh, he's good, isn't
And
he?
that's from 1979, just before the refurb of the station started.
And also the year that the Jubilee line opened up.
Correct.
Indeed.
Yeah. So it's interesting how, you can sort of tell how each mock-up and, each upgrade is kind of mirroring what's just been finished. It's very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. And anyway, back to Tottenham Court Road and the central line. Now, that was as it looked before the renovation, isn't it, guys?
The central line platform had a light retrim of its tile. As you can see, they've changed from the white colour we saw earlier, and that happened in the 30s. But then between 1982 and 84, there was the installation of a really radical new design in mosaic by the artist Edoardo Paolozzi. And let's have a look at the radical change.
There will be loads of people who watch this episode who will recognize all of this, because it was up there for a long time, and possibly the busiest time when Tottenham Court Road had its biggest number of travelers going through it. I can remember all through my school days and university days and into my working days, these mosaics were all over the platforms. I mean, Laura, these are amazing, aren't they?
I really like this. I know for some people it's not kind of up their street, but I really like it, and it's very distinctive, isn't it? And super memorable. Like, you would remember this as you're kind of traveling through the station, or it might even make you think of Tottenham Court Road. And I feel like the colour and the design is frenetic on purpose, because I believe that the surrounding shops around Tottenham Court Road are very much kind of hi-fi and music and tech equipment. And this mosaic was actually to reflect that kind of retail and commerce above the street, below ground, via the mosaic.
And my parents might have described this station as jazzy in appearance, and that is also part of the flavour of this. Is reflecting the life and the culture around the station, as you say, including the jazz cafes of Soho. So if you look in places, you will see saxophones, for example, picked out in mosaic. So it really is, an amazing place to have been able to go and study all of that detail in the walls.
And when you go back when you go back to the 1990s in central London, I can remember the days, as Laura absolutely rightly says, when Tottenham Court Road was literally shop after shop after shop of hi-fi stuff and electronic stuff. In the days when there was a brand called Tandy, there used to be a Tandy. Do you remember Tandy?
Yeah.
That was on Tottenham Court Road as well. You could buy all sorts of bits and bobs. And I can remember vividly thinking to myself, those mosaics were like circuit boards in places as well. They looked a little bit like circuit boards because of that kind of like that hi-fi bent. I think it's beautiful. And I'm so glad that even to this very day, some of it survives.
Yeah, I was just going to say, to me, it I get sort of Aztec vibes from it, you know, like sort of, yeah, from like the Aztecs, just kind of the colors and the patterns remind me of sort of Central American art.
Yeah, no, I totally see what you mean there. You could imagine that on a poncho. But
your poncho.
Paolozzi was born in Leith in Scotland and studied at Edinburgh Art School. Just an amazing amount of his kind of soul and brain gone into the walls of Tottenham Court Road.
So was he Paolozzi or was he Paolozzi?
Probably Paolozzi.
Paolozzi. Hello to all of our
in
Scotland.
history
We love you dearly. I'm so sorry. I don't know where that came from. It just sort of came from my gut and just shot out. 1982. Then that was all.
So, Chris, aren't some of the sections of the mosaic actually stored at the University of Edinburgh? Is that the link because of the artist coming from there?
Yeah, that's right. So when the station was last modernised, some of the mosaics were removed and sections of them were preserved and taken to the art college. Yeah,
good work. And if we go up onto street level in that particular era, the 80s, that is what we used to see. I remember going in that entrance, and that was originally, guys, wasn't it, the Central Line original entrance off the street.
Yeah, it's that one we saw at the start. You can see it's been sensitively handled by the 80s. That's lovely wrought iron canopy.
Goodness. How much would you love to take one of those like water pressure cleaner things on that building and just like
Well, I just like to do that any time of the year, to be honest, just for a laugh. But, you know, I mean, to clean the buildings would be good as well. It'd be rather nice.
So that was it in 2001, before the last set of works began on the station.
And of course, when you talk about the last set of works, we have to bring ourselves up to date, because not only has Tottenham Court Road got the Central Line and the Northern Line, but a new line is about to open there. And if the eagle-eyed among you would have seen the signs, it actually said under tape, Crossrail. Of course, now it's called anybody?
the Elizabeth line.
Thank you. So taking us back to when this all started off, I think someone's put something in the water today. We need to have a look.
Maybe checking that it is water.
It really is. Can you imagine? If
it really is. That's what's unfair. It's just, we're just this loony naturally.
What really worries me is that it's only the rules of the Transport Museum that stop us having a glass of wine when we do this. It'd be so much more fun. Can you imagine? People would be swearing. It'd be great. So let's go to the joys of the marketing literature that they published when they started talking about Crossrail opening up there. Look at that. Network Southeast, Chris. What?
Yeah. Do you know what? We, for many years when I was first at the museum, we used to have the mock-up of part of one of these trains at our depot at Acton. We had it for a good 3 or 4 years after I joined in '99. So yeah, there had been a number of earlier attempts to build a Crossrail, and here you can see the East-West Crossrail plans from the 90s, which of course didn't go ahead. The one that we have today was a revamp and a realignment, but that central London section is all there. But yeah, the train was liveried as a Network Southeast train.
Lovely, lovely. And I suppose we should see how that was all going to be threaded through the set. You're reading my mind again, Nick. It's amazing. So we've got the red ones for the Central Line. We have the black ones to the right for the Northern Line. I guess the blue ones are Crossrail. But hold on a minute. The District Line doesn't run through Tottenham Court Road.
No,
No.
that is
We should anybody?
Anybody?
anybody.
Now, is this the line that they were going to create from northeast London to down
Southwest?
Sort of, yes.
Yes.
But it wasn't. It didn't have a name. It had like two places. Was it Chelsea something?
Yeah, the Chelsea and Hackney line. It's kind of the foundation of what we know as Crossrail 2 today. Similar alignment, but Crossrail 2 would go slightly in a slightly different direction. But that was originally supposed to kind of come through Tottenham Court Road as well.
So that point I made earlier about the importance of Tottenham Court Road as that intersection between north, south, east, west for the Central Line and the Northern Line. The plan was to do that again with the two express deep tube lines and intersect them at Tottenham Court Road as well. So you really see that's a huge labyrinth to put under the ground there, isn't it?
So the literature just keeps going, doesn't it, really? Because they talked about this a lot. There it is. I mean, that I have to say as well, to go to Tottenham Court Road now, the station is really quite pretty, isn't it? It's very, very funky in the middle of a part of London which has undergone so much change. I mean, do you remember, who remembers the Astoria Theatre on Tottenham Court Road?
Yes.
The nights I used to dance in an orange shirt in my 20s, heavens above, and then get on the Vomit Comet to go home. It was great with a kebab.
Oh, God, what a vivid description.
In an orange shirt.
I'm just thinking about you looking like the main character in Fifth Element now.
You see, I'm just thinking that they closed the Astoria just to stop Alex eating kebabs on the tube on the way home.
Yes, it was. I mean, I'm sure they did close it to get rid of me. I think it would have been quite good. Did you ever dance at the Astoria, Laura?
No, and I didn't wear an orange shirt either, but I love that you did, and that is all I can actually think of.
I think
right
it's
now.
a beautiful thing.
But I'm trying to think of how that image does show the lovely kind of design and modernization of the station. But I genuinely can just think of you in your orange shirt. So yeah,
it's awesome. And to give you an idea of where it's looking, that is looking from the northern bit of Tottenham Court Road down to the southern bit of Tottenham Court Road, because that prickly building in the middle is Centre Point, which is a stunning building in itself, and has a lovely bar at the top of it made of copper, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, gorgeous.
It's also astonishing that they dug that enormous pit to build that new part of the station right against the foundations of Centre Point. It was a stunning project when that was being done.
Absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. And we can have a look, can't we, at the booking hall as it is now?
Well, this next photo is not the booking hall of this station. It is the booking hall of the new Elizabeth Line station.
Oh, so this is brand new.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is back down to the right in this image that we're looking at here. You go to the right down Oxford Street, then just off the main street is this new entrance.
Hold on a minute. When did you go there? Is this another trip you've been on without me?
Yes. So before I even knew you, Alex.
Yeah.
That's what they all say. This is how lovers fall out.
This was the 9th of June, 2008. And we were invited by the 18. Yeah, God, sorry.
I was going to say.
I'm going to be I'm sorry. So 9th of June, 2018. We were invited by the Crossrail team to kind of come and have a look around it. One colleague, Alex Monk, actually shared these photos with me. So a quick shout out to Alex Monk. Thank you very much, Alex.
Hi.
But it was really awesome to see, wasn't it, Chris? It was very close to being kind of finished. You know, the final polishes were kind of coming on, and it was really lovely to see.
Yeah, and it's one that I think we'll come back to, hopefully nearer to the opening of the station. Tremendous place. There's original artwork installed in it, unique to that station, built on the grand scale that Crossrail is. So yeah, it was real joy to be able to go and visit it, and we hope to be able to share a bit more with you in the future.
Oh yeah, there's loads more to go out with Crossrail, isn't there? And I like the fact in that photograph that they were using microscope eye holes as lights in the roof as well. That's rather lovely. Beautiful. So just to recap, Central Line got there in 1900. Northern Line Charing Cross branch, as we now know it, got there in 1907. It's not Good Street. That was Tottenham Court Road as well. It's Oxford Street that became Tottenham Court Road. Okay, so far so good. Crossrail is on its way. Nice tiles on the Northern Line platforms. They were green. We're going to call those mint green. Team?
Hint of mint.
Hint of mint, or wait, what did Laura say earlier? Wasn't it something quite good?
Quite good. Thanks, Sydney.
When her Zoom wasn't playing up.
Yeah, I've got terrible connection and reception tonight, so apologies, everybody. I think I went with the azure green of the ocean and fresh meadow grass green as well. Not very succinct and easy to say though, is it? So hint of mint is kind of a bit better, I guess.
Laura, I've just thought what we should call it. We should call it Laura's top, which is of course true as a statement, and also describes the tiles now that you've worn your top.
Do you know, that is utterly, I can actually see that in one of those posh paint catalogues, can't you? Laura's top.
Oh yeah, totally.
I love that. All good. So, and then of course, at the very end of this story, so far for Tottenham Court Road, will be Crossrail when it opens up, or the Elizabeth line. So that is a potted history of Tottenham Court Road Station. I hope you like that. We've got loads of things still to come, loads of your notes, queries and questions as well. And before we do that, I suppose we ought to just have a little mention about Patreon, because it's gathering pace, isn't it?
It is, yes. We've got lots of lovely Patreon subscribers now, and joining in with our conversations through Discord and through our Patreon channel, and getting lots of lovely extra content, just like this.
I'm just looking at those doors, and I want to sneak behind them.
So go on. Where's that?
It's kind of funny to see the beautiful Leslie Green ticket windows and these like 4 little Daleks in front of it.
You'd think there'd be somebody with a little sense of taste saying, let's not put that there. Let's just...
Alex, this was 1976. This photo was taken. Do I need to say any more?
No, that answers that.
It's such a hatchet job, isn't it? I mean, they didn't even put them against the wall. It's just like somewhere in the wall.
It's just...
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the 70s, everybody, where class stopped. And Laura, of course, you've got your, I mean, I do think it looks like a cream slice, but also we've got your lovely butterscotch colour tile there as well.
Yeah, I was the salted caramel, but come on, Alex, please. But I just love that he loves that.
I love that you love that Chris loves that. Cindy loves that.
Oh, I love that you love that Chris loves it.
Yeah.
Before meeting you and having you in my life, Chris, and Alex, there's this all the time, that you just introduce these lovely little nuggets of crazy joy to our lives.
As a benchmark, Laura, of how sad this can get. And I love it. It's just so mad.
The fireman Sam of the Hidden London Hangouts, isn't he? Oh,
yeah, that'll definitely improve sales.
Was it like the decorator in Fawlty Towers? There you go. So we have a bit of a laugh as well as we go. We do like a bit of a giggle, as you can probably tell. Slightly demob happy. We're not quite sure what we're demob from, but we're having a bit of a giggle today, which is all very nice. And Chris, I've got something to show you. I do like a show and tell.
Have I not warned you about this before?
It's Mothering Sunday, so I've made my mother an iPad cover.
Oh, wow. That's lovely.
How lovely is that? Happy birthday, Mum. Regular viewer. In fact, she's never missed an episode. My mum, my dad, and my brother sit and watch this every week to see what I look like, because it's been so long since they saw me. See, Mum, hair's growing. You'll be happy. And while I was doing that, I made myself a laptop cover as well. So there we go. Thank you very much to Wallace Sewell for the design. London loves you. And thank you very much to Honor at Kneel.
Gosh, you're so dexterous, aren't you?
Oh, you know me and a knitting needle. It's all marvellous. Chris Nix would love it. I'm not as good as Chris Nix, but there we go. It's all good. Now then, notes, queries and questions. Loads of bits and bobs. We did Holloway Road last week. Hugely popular episode. Thank you so much. By Tuesday, we had nearly 1,700. That's probably how they say it, don't they? 1.7k viewers we had to put on Instagram. We're very, very pleased. Mike Me sent this. He said, I used Holloway Road on most days in 1972 to 1976 when I was a student at the old North London Poly. My dad spent some time at North London Poly. I think he was teaching actually there. I used to use the old lift and remember the old disc roundels. Some survive at Cali and Covent Garden. In the 80s, Ian Allen, the railway publisher, produced a basic guide to LU stations. I was lucky in the mid-80s to be given a tour of the basement of the station by the author of this book. Remember looking at the base of the spiral escalator. Do you remember the spiral escalator? It lasted a day. Well done, everybody. Tiling is original with just the paint and plaster repairs to damaged tiles. I've many notes on the tiling patterns of stations and was thinking about getting something published, but was beaten by David Lawrence and Doug Rose. Hi, both. Anyway, your series is excellent. Must join some of those tours after COVID. Yes, you must. See, we're really generating a lot of messages here, Mr. Nix, aren't we? This is going very well.
It's nice. Feel a lot less lonely with people writing it. It's great.
Absolutely. It's all lovely, lovely, lovely. Liam Kenny is still getting used to Instagram, but he's sent a huge list of possible suggestions as to possible topics for us. A cab ride. We've got the training school for underground staff. I quite like the idea of having a nose around there. Tales from the Lost Property Office City. We can do that, can't we?
Yeah, that's actually something that we thought about before COVID. It's an idea that I had that we would go and do a physical tour of the Lost Property Office. I would absolutely love to nosy around in there. I think they've got so many interesting things that have been found on the tube. So good idea.
And also, Laura, Liam would like a guide to the films that were shot on the tube in time. I reckon we can do that, can't we? You're a bit of a film buff.
Do you know what? We absolutely could. And I was going to save this for the end, but that's a lovely little segue. I had a question for you three. In 1981, there was a really famous film shot. A sequence was shot at Tottenham Court Road. Does anybody know what the film is?
Anybody?
1981.
Is it American Werewolf?
Oh, Nick!
Oh man, that was a complete.
Skills.
Sorry, that was
Well
complete.
Wow.
Yeah. American Werewolf in London. Good.
Wowzers. Who knew that? That's amazing. Nix knew that, as Nix always does.
I know, it's amazing.
Wowzers. That's amazing.
Absolutely, to Liam.
Good work. James the Plonker says, your neighbourhood Plonker here, with another question I think might be interesting to you. If you had the option to revert an underground line to terminate at its original destination or revert it routing back to its original alignment, what line would you choose and why? You've got a month to sort that one out, team.
Man, I was going to say, that sounds like a blind date question, doesn't it?
Wasn't it? I hope they've had a couple of bottles of wine by this stage. I tell you what I'd love to see. I'd love to see the Northern Line turning round at Embankment.
Yeah.
Like it used to. I think that'd be quite cool, because then we could ride the loop like the Kennington.
I was going to say,
ridden.
It's going to be just like Kennington. They wouldn't let you on it.
They're never going to let us. They're never going to let us on it.
I would have liked to have seen the Traverser at Euston. That would have been cool.
Good shout.
That would have been really cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, the thing that when Euston was the terminus, there was something that was a bit like an escalator for train engines that shunted the train engine from one track to the other and then chuffed it back down the other way. It's my descriptions are legend.
Very good description, exactly. It's just like
this is the reason why the London Transport Museum wanted me, for these descriptions that I can offer you. Have that for free. Also, a big hello from all of us to Dave Sticks. We love you and everything about you we adore. So thank you and stay strong. DJ Doubles. I love this. I couldn't agree more with your comment, Alex, about tiles still being there after all those years, being more interesting than the colours themselves. I said this about Holloway Road last week, and to rapturous applause from the team. Holloway Road and Caledonian Road were stations of the most interest of Leslie Green stations for me when I lived in London. They'd changed very little. Wish TfL would restore the tiling in the ticket hall and passageways at Caledonian Road. I'm not so keen on the 70s tile work. I think the city is nodding in agreement there. It's not so nice, is it? Holloway Road's much nicer.
Yeah, Holloway Road's gorgeous. It's just, it's funny how, isn't it funny how like there come these waves of restoration, like, in the 60s, people really didn't rate Victorian architecture that much. And then, now we really like it. And, it's interesting that in the 70s, they must have looked at the Edwardian stuff and been like, ugh, outdated. And now we really love it. So I agree.
Totally. And Jack Sugden, I believe you were in Emmerdale Farm, weren't you? He said, I spent some 35 years using Holloway Road. I saw the moving staircase, or what was left of it, caged off, and stairs from the platform up to the unused exit, negotiated the grills near the lifts from the spiral stairs, seen every inch of that station. Well, I'm glad you have, because they haven't taken me yet. It's a drafts bellow through from the outside into the ticket hall in the winter. It's grade 2 listed. The reason for this station being close to the surface was to reach the then Metropolitan Railway platforms at Finsbury Park, which were opened in 1904 to Moorgate Street. I know the tones about Finsbury Park Arsenal and its tunnels, all rich in history. You guys are such experts on this sort of stuff. You are brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And we love you getting in touch. So from all of us, we need to say thank you very much to Laura Hilton Brown.
Thanks. It's a really good one today. I've been super interested. I've loved every single image. Really, really loved it.
Oh, Siddy, love you.
Love you, babes. Love you, babes. It's been really cool. It's one of the stations that I kind of didn't know that much about, but I feel like I do now.
And Chris Nix, thanks for whatever you've put in the water today.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, it's like Siddy says, it's been an unusual one today. A station that I've used a lot, but didn't know a huge amount about until we started to take a proper look at it. So it's been good to go digging.
Absolutely wonderful station. When my dad used to take me to town, he used to take me to Foyle's bookshop, and I would sit cross-legged on the floor as he would read personnel books for hours and hours and hours. Dad, I love you. I know more about human resources at 7 than I ever needed to know. I love you. So if you want to get in touch with us, do it via Instagram, Alex Grundon, Chris Nix, Siddy Holloway, or Hidden London Law. Also, tip a wink to @LT Museum. And if you want to comment down below, like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube. We'll be back next week with another amazing place. In the meantime, have yourself a great day and stay safe.